Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. So today's video is a vlog of all the books that I read this week from the week of April 2nd to the 8th. And I finished 3 books this week and I'm in the middle of another one. It's one that I'm going to be reading for the entire month of April. So the first book that I finished was Caught Red-Handed, and this is book number 4 in the Bake Shop Mystery series, and it's a reread. And I'm rereading it with Courtney from Protagonist and a bunch of us as well on the Tasting Through Tort book club on the Fable app. And so in the premise of this book, it centers around Jules and Cap Shop, and she runs a bakery with her mom, and she's got some other workers like Stephanie and Sterling and a bunch of other people in the town. You also meet up with Lance, the artistic director of the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. So in this book, one day there's a new restaurant owner in town named Mindy, and she has a chain. It's like a franchise of a restaurant called Shakesburgers, I think it's called. And she wants to expand on the business, and that is making a lot of people in the town, a lot of people that run businesses in town, upset. And one day Mindy is found dead, so Jules takes it upon herself to investigate and figure out what happened. And on top of all this, she has her husband Carlos. He's in town. He's on leave, or he was an executive chef on a cruise ship, and she was also working on the ship as well with him. But in the beginning of the series, something happened. She finds out something that Carlos was keeping from her, and that was it made her leave the ship and just like to go back home to figure things out and just to be away from the situation for a bit. So now he's back in town and back in her life, and he wants to be back with her to be husband and wife again. And she's a little bit hesitant, and she loves him, but she wants to know why he kept this particular secret from him, and why didn't he tell her about this particular aspect of his life? Why did he keep it hidden? So this book, I liked it. I gave it 4 wontons out of 5. It's and I said it before, it's a reread, and I actually do like the entire series. It's kind of like it's a found as you're going along through the series. The Jules, Doug, that he's the chief of police, I guess you'd say, and her mom Helen, and Thomas, the cop, the other police officer who was her ex-boyfriend. And now you also have all the other characters, the people that work in the shop, like Sterling, Stephanie, and I forgot to mention Andy. He's the barista extraordinaire. He makes all these really unique flavor combinations for coffee. So that as you go along through the series, they all become almost like a family. And I've said before in my other videos, I like the found family trope. So this was another good book as well. And I know some people have an issue with Carlos. He's not their most favorite character, but I didn't mind him at all. He was fine for me. It didn't really bother me. And so so that one I did like, and we're gonna be reading the next book next month. I'm not sure what that book is called, but that's going to be next in the reread. And then that was a cozy mystery. I didn't mention that before. So the second book that I finished is a thriller, and it's called Local Women Missing by Mary Kubica. I don't know if I'm saying it properly, but I read this as a buddy read with Sharon, and it is also part of the Thriller Lovers Book Club. It is also, this book club is also on the Fable app. And so the premise of this story, it centers around, so there's 2 missing women in the story. One is Shelby Thibault, and the other one is Meredith Dickey, and she disappears along with her daughter Delilah. And so like Delilah is around 6 years old when she disappears, and then 11 years later, she miraculously reappears. So everybody's wondering what happened to her. Where was she all this time? And then also within the book you also see wondering what happened to Shelby at the same time. And there's also the book has a lot of characters. Now I listened to this on audio, so there's the characters that were in the book. They were narrated by different narrators. So I found even though there was a lot of characters, it wasn't hard to. It wasn't confusing to me to know who was who. So you had Kate's. There's characters like Josh the husband, and you have the neighbors B and Kate, and you also have Meredith as well. So it'd be kind of jumping around, but it wasn't confusing to me. I was able to keep following along with the story and not get lost. And so as you're going along through the book, you find out what really happened. And so there's a bunch of twists that I wasn't expecting. And so I gave this book 3 wontons out of 5. I mean, it was a good book, but there were some things that were a little bit inconsistent, things that weren't really wrapped up. You had questions. It'd be hard for me to say what those were without spoiling it, but I'll just say that there were things that happened to certain characters that it wasn't explained at the end. Where there was no conclusion. Like this thing happened, so at the end, what happened to them afterwards? So that in that kind of way, it was a little bit. It didn't flow particularly well in my opinion. And there's some other things like I'll just say that there's child abuse at the beginning of this book. I'll just say it's there right at the very, very beginning. It's not a spoiler. So I guess that they don't. It's not mentioned in the book, at least in the version I was listening to, that there'd be a trigger warning for that. But I would say that if you have any issues with child abuse or anything like that, just know that it's right at the very beginning of the book. And for me, it was hard to listen to those few chapters, the beginning chapters. It gets you in the heart. It's just so wrenching. So if you have any issues with it, I'm just letting you know now that it's there in that book. And so that was the only thriller that I read this week. And so the third one that I finished was my second cozy mystery, and it's Pleading the Fish, and this is book number 7 and the last book in the Seaside Cafe series, and this is by Bree Baker. So in this book, Everly, she runs a tea cafe business on the beach called Sun, Sand, and Tea. She sells a bunch of different flavored teas, like strawberry mint, hibiscus honey, things like that, like different flavors. And so right in the beginning of the series, when you start from book 1, there is this legend, I guess you'd say, within the family, that the men that marry into the family, that marry swan women, they have short lives. And some sort of a curse or something going on where the men are cursed, or they're destined to live shorter lives when they marry a swan woman. So in this last book, Everly decides she wants to find out more about her family history, to find out whether or not this legend is real, or if it's just something that was passed down from generation to generation, to explain why the husbands or the men in the family were living such short lives. So she hires a historian. I think her name is Sue. I can't remember. I just read the book and I can't remember the character's name. But anyway, she Everly hires this woman to research her family history. And so then one day, before Everly is even able to meet up with this woman and get the information, she is found dead in a wishing well. So now Everly has to figure out what happened to this woman. And as usual, the police, like Grady Hayes, he is telling her don't investigate, leave it up to the police. But she says she can't do it. And as in all the other books, whoever did the killing is leaving. I don't know if calling cards are the right word to use, but they're leaving things on her car or around her property or around her business that are threats to say, stop, you better stop investigating now. But that doesn't deter her, so she keeps on investigating. And so this one, I gave it 3 wontons out of 5. It was an okay read. The way that Brie Baker ended the book and the series was actually a pretty good ending. I like the way that she ended it. But there's some things about this particular book that I still have questions about. So there are things that maybe I wasn't paying attention enough when I was reading the book. So I may have missed a few things. But I mean, otherwise, it was still a good book, and it was I liked the way that the series that Brie Baker ended the series. And the other book that I'm currently reading, that I'm reading for the month of April, is Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson, and this is a fantasy, and it's book number 2 in the Stormlight Archive. And I'm reading this we're dividing up the book into 2 halves. So the first half we're going to be reading this month in April, and then the second half we're going to read in May. So I'm going to continue. This is a really long book, so I'm going to continue reading this book and see. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to read 50%, but hopefully I think I'll be able to get it done by the end of April. So that is the books that I read for this week. How was your reading week? What books did you read, and how did you find them? If you would like to post in the comments, please do so. I'd be really interested to read what you've been up to with your books. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And I hope you have a good day and evening, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.